I'm going to give a quick overview on the Creative Centenaries project, what's been happening, where we're at with it, and how you can get involved, both in terms of accessing content, but also how we can help you to promote and highlight your own work around the centenary year and draw attention to all of that. For those of you who don't know, Creative Centenaries was established in 2014 as a hub of information, resource, and support around the decade of centenaries in Northern Ireland. And it draws attention to the work of the sort of creative, cultural, heritage, community organisations across Northern Ireland, and draws attention to the work that they're doing, but also to the work that we've been able to kind of implement and coordinate around Creative Centenaries as well. It's a nerve centre project. I work for the nerve centre, and it's part of a wider kind of suite of work that we carried out around issues of community relations and cultural diversity over the decades. I'm going to start by showing you just some quick screenshots of the new Creative Centenaries website, which we relaunched last week. It's had a complete overhaul and a complete redesign. All of the core content that was there previously is still there, and we've developed some new sections as well. It's the same URL, and what we want to do with the website this year is again position it there as a core offering for people to access information, content, and resources, and also to highlight any work that you're doing and any content that you might have. So it's been recently, as I said, relaunched and redesigned. We have also partnered with the Centenary Historical Advisory Panel that's been set up by the British government and has been coordinated by the Northern Ireland office. And what we're doing with that partnership is developing new content for the website in the form of regular on this day articles. So there are research assistants who are working with the Historical Advisory Panel currently, and who are supplying us with regular information in terms of newspaper articles from specific dates 100 years ago. And over the course of the year, we want to build up almost like a timeline of content there, from newspaper articles, from historical events, from policy changes and elsewhere. It gives a snapshot of everything that was going on throughout that year, whether political, social, cultural, or otherwise. As well as that, there is also a revised blog section on the website, which is started to be populated with some content. This is an article that's been written by Dr. Marie Coleman from Queen's University. And there are articles that will be supplied by the Historical Advisory Panel that tease out some of the wider narratives around what was happening in this centenary year. And again, it's there as a resource that anybody can access. Can be used in terms of your own education to upskill yourself around some of the things that were happening at that time, and also any work that you might be doing with schools, with community groups, or with anybody learning about this time frame as well. As always, there is an events section on the website, and the events section is there to highlight, promote, and draw attention to all the work that's going on right across Ireland, with a specific focus on the activity in Northern Ireland. And it's a free resource. Creative Centenaries is a free resource for you to host information and content about any work that you might be doing. So if you've got a conference, if you've got a talk, if you've got a new launch event, if you're launching a new resource, if you have news and resource that you want to host on this website, I'll include my contact details at the end, and you can send any of that information to us. And what we'll be doing alongside the website is promoting all of this content through social media. So we want to act as a one-stop shop for the decade of centenaries, for the centenary year in particular, and to allow people to find out more about what's going on, essentially, from the one place. So any work that we can do to help you in that regard, we're very keen to do so. Anyone who's used the site before will also know there's quite an extensive resources section on that site, and as well as Creative Centenaries resources that we've developed and produced ourselves. It's also content that's being created by external organisations. And this is part of the recent relaunch. We've worked with both Mid Ulster Council and Belfast City Council to digitise and to record and to launch new video content that they had linked to events and linked to people who were speaking about events linked to this time frame. So it's all there. It's all available again for free from the Creative Centenaries website under the resources section. You can download graphic novels, you can download interactive resources, PDF resources, schools resources, video content, and website content. So it's a one-stop shop for everything that you might need. I'm going to focus slightly on some of our own resources and some of our own work that we've been involved in. And some of you may be familiar with some of these resources from previous. We have kind of pioneered this method of using graphic novels as a way to explore and tease out some of the narratives about real people involved in this time frame. So these are some of the previous graphic novels that we've produced. And again, all available from the website as downloads, as free PDF downloads. If anybody would like hard copy access to any of these resources as well, please let us know, and we can get hard copies out to you as well. Recently, we have relaunched 2 new graphic novels on Michael Collins and James Craig, and specifically focusing on their involvement on the events in and around partition and the formation of Northern Ireland. So these are quite in-depth resources in terms of the stories that they're telling and the depth of information that's included within them. Again, they're available on the website. They will be soon. They soon will be printed and launched as a physical publication as well. And if anybody would like access to those, you can let us know when that time comes. All of these resources are all curriculum linked at either Key Stage 2, but predominantly Key Stage 3. And given the fact that the period features a Key Stage 3, there's a natural tie-in there. But it's also, as well as being available for Key Stage 3 audiences and for the younger audience, we found these resources really quite useful in terms of working with anybody of any age, adult learners, people. Actually, what we found with the graphic novel format is that it's quite useful for people with dyslexia and any kind of learning disabilities, in that it's a format of information that they're able to digest easier than traditional learning resources and traditional text. So that's a useful piece of information for anybody who may be working with groups of that nature. So as I say, they're available. Anybody who would like access to those, check it out through the website, and also make contact with us if anybody would like to get hard copies of those. That's just a quick snapshot of how we've linked some of those resources to the curriculum and some of the tasks that are suggested throughout as well, and often making use of creative technologies or creative processes as a way for young people to creatively respond to this time frame. And again, we find that that's a really unique method of allowing and enabling young people to feel like they have a voice around some of this content and making them feel much more relevant to them in the modern day as well. We also recently, towards the end of 2019, launched a new animation, 2.5D parallax animation. And this was launched at the Resources Fair, the last physical face-to-face Resources Fair, if anybody can remember what that was like, in Cookstown. And what we've done, this is part of a suite of animations and video content that we've produced over the last sort of 8 to 10 years. And what we do with these animations is offer a snapshot of the time frame. So they're anything anything between sort of 5 and 8 minutes long, and they're really useful. We found in terms of setting up conferences, workshops, events, classroom activities, just as a way of orientating people around the time frame and what they might be exploring. For example, we had a program which we began last night with a group of young people who are exploring a new exhibition that we're working on in terms of looking at this period. And in order to orientate them around what we were talking about in the exhibition, we used this animation as a way at the start of that session to kind of showcase just a broad overview of those events. And they found it quite a useful experience in terms of being able to understand what we were referencing. So these are all available again through the website, also through YouTube, and please make use of them if you think that they could be of use to you. I'll point your attention to another resource we have, which is a suite of interactive iBooks, which have been built specifically for iPad. And if you do a search on the App Store for Ireland 1916, this is the #1 result that will pop up for you. These were built to look at the period 1916 in terms of the 2 main events of the Easter Rising and the Battle of the Somme, but also feature quite extensive sections looking at Ireland post-1916 as well. And this resource, again, is free to download from Apple's App Store. What we've done with this is populated full of really rich content that's been written by historians and academics. There's also lots of really interesting video content in there. Again, it's been curriculum like the Key Stage 3. So there are tasks and activities that are suggested throughout that anyone can get access to. And there's little kind of review sections as well. So it's about making this content as interactive and as accessible for maybe for audiences who wouldn't traditionally engage with it as well. So again, all linked through the website. So these are just some of the resources that we have produced and we have been involved in. I'm going to quickly just touch on some work that we have upcoming that you might find useful and will certainly become a lot more prominent in the next weeks and months. We are, as part of our Making the Future programme, which is a consortium project between Nerve Centre, National Museums NI, Public Record Office of Northern Ireland and Linen Hall Library. The Making the Future project is all about a range of themes exploring our past to kind of better understand who we are now and also to project some hopes and aspirations for the future. So we are working towards a major new exhibition at the Ulster Museum, which will launch in April. And it's called Collecting the Past, Making the Future, Marking Centenaries 2021. And for those of you who know the work that the Ulster Museum has been involved in, over the decade of Centenaries, quite a number of high-profile and significant exhibitions there that have explored some of the key events throughout the decade of Centenaries. The image below at the bottom is just a snapshot of some of the drawings and designs of what this exhibition will look like. Over 250 items from the collection will go on show, and it's an exhibition that will explore the decade of Centenaries within the context of what was happening between 1900 to 1930, and it will do that through the objects and collections that National Museums and I have at their disposal. But as well as that, the exhibition will come through to the modern day, and it will explore how the events at that time have had an impact and a legacy on the lives that we now lead, and looking at everything through politics and economy, society and culture, and how all of those things have been defined by the last 100 years and how our culture and our identity has come to be defined by some of those events. And we're doing that in the context of better exploring our past so that we can encourage people to understand who we are now, how we got to this point. And then also there will be a section of that exhibition which encourages people to look forward and to have a say around some of the issues that they think will be important going into the future and perhaps over the next 100 years as well. I want to finish off quite quickly just by talking about some of the engagement work that we've been doing as part of that project, as part of the Making the Future project. And over the last couple of years, I've worked with upwards of 1,800 people from right across Northern Ireland and border counties, bringing them and giving them access to explore some of these centenaries, these events, and these kind of defining moments from our history. And that's involved work with people from as young as 8 and 9, all the way up to, I think, 89 and 90. And that program is very much about using the archives, using the collections, and using the resources that those institutions have to explore that time frame. And in the Nerve Centre, as a creative multimedia artistic organisation, come in and inject some creativity into that process. So we used everything from virtual reality to filmmaking to audio podcasting to digital design, to virtual tours, all of these kind of unique methods of engagement to help people to better understand and to better reflect on some of these subjects. So over the next year, we will be running quite an extensive project around creative centenaries, working with communities, working with groups to help them better understand and to reflect and to respond to some of this. And to some of the impact and legacy of the formation of Northern Ireland, the formation of the state. So if you have any groups who you would like to partner with us on in terms of delivering some of this work, what we do is we bring a really unique rigor in terms of the archives and the accessibility to collections that each of those partners has, and then also a really unique sense of creativity that the Nerve Centre can bring to that as well.